All righty, Bros Who Binge fan base. Welcome back. I told y'all this is part of the new thing since because Shuby can't watch all the movies. My man is a busy man. So we're back once again on this episode of Bros Who Binge. Me and Schubert reviewed The Gray Man. And now me and Lil Reg are we will review The Gray Man. And now me and Lil Reg are going to review Nope. So for those of you here just from YouTube, go check out the full Bros Who Binge episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We break down SoundCloud. Yeah, we break down San Diego Comic-Con. We talk about the Marvel slate. We talk about the future of Marvel. We talk about all of that, The Gray Man and more. So check out the full audio, or you can wait and some of the clips will be dropping on YouTube like this one. But welcome, YouTube audience. I'm joined, like I said, by Lil Reg. Lil Reg, how you doing, brother?
Doing good.
My movie compadre.
Yeah. Excited to talk about this one, especially seeing a young black director finally get his shot.
Well, I don't know if I would say young black director finally getting his shot.
Oh no, but I'm saying this. What I mean is like we don't see that many prominent black directors, especially in his space that he's tackling, or his genre of film. And the fact that like
I think he's becoming a prominent black. I think he's becoming.
Whenever I didn't mean getting a start, I meant like finally getting acceptance within the film community.
Like I think he is,
because a lot of people thought Get Out was a fluke.
When you talk about the current generation of GOATs, you say Nolan, Villeneuve. I think
Nolan, Villeneuve,
maybe Ari Aster. See, I think Wes Anderson and PTA are part of the Quentin Tarantino generation.
Okay.
I would say right now you would say Fincher, Nolan, Villeneuve, and see even Fincher you can say was with Tarantino in them because that's 90s. So and Fincher made two of his biggest hits in the 90s. So I'm talking about who starts in the 2000s. Like that's Villeneuve. Okay. That's because I think Nolan's first movie. Memento
is 2003, 2004.
I think it's something like that. Like, let me check real quick. So,
also Oppenheimer.
Memento is 2000. So perfect, right on the money. First real movie, Villeneuve. So you have those two guys. Maybe Ari Aster with his horror. Maybe. I'm trying to think of someone else who directed Hereditary.
I don't know. I haven't seen.
Is that?
I've never seen.
Midsommar?
No, they've only had one.
Oh, that's Ari Aster. Okay,
that's Ari Aster.
That's Ari Aster. He directed Midsommar and Hereditary. So maybe you could say him. Maybe you could say Ryan Coogler with. But
I'd say Coogler.
I still think Coogler has to get a couple more hits under his belt. Like to me, Black Panther's cool, but I need to see a real film. Like
Creed.
Like Creed, that's a real film. Whatchamacallit is a real
Station.
Fruitvale is a real film. Like I want to see Coogler outside of Marvel doing something like fire. So like I'm saying, when you say Nolan, Villeneuve, I think now you have to say Peele. Like I think
I definitely say Peele is now a part of, and I'd say he's one of the front runners in that conversation.
I think I need to see.
I put him ahead of Ari Aster and Coogler.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. You got to put him above Ari Aster and Coogler, like 1000%. I thought you were talking about
no, he's not ahead of. He's not ahead of Nolan and Villeneuve. No,
and maybe even Sofia Coppola's in this conversation as well as 2000s directors. Maybe Steven Soderbergh as well with like all of his action movies, like those guys. But to me, it's right now when you ask me my favorite directors of today, it's number one. And I'm not counting Tarantino, Scorsese in them. When you ask me
where Edgar Wright.
Oh, Edgar Wright's in there. He's up there for sure. I would say Nolan, I would say Villeneuve, Nolan, Peele, Edgar Wright. Like that's what. And maybe Guy Ritchie because I do love
Guy Ritchie. Yeah,
I love me some Guy Ritchie movies. But Peele's coming off of Us, which I didn't like. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like Us at all. I thought Us was him being too pretentious in terms of making horror films.
Yeah, I understand that. And look, I don't like Us because I love Get Out so much, but I don't see it with the kind of like disdain you kind of see Us with.
See, and okay, let me tell you this.
Us is a good movie.
Us was the first Jordan Peele film I watched. I watched Get Out after Us.
Okay.
So that's why. Yeah, see, and then when I watched Get Out, I was like, okay, this is cool. But it's after everyone hyped it up to be the best horror film of all time. And I'm like, this is cool. But when I went into Nope, I'm like, oh shit, this isn't necessary.
It's a pivot.
It's not a horror film. It's a thriller sci-fi film. And I'm like, this is fucking amazing. After seeing all of his films, I think this is his best film. And I think for people like Jake Paul who are saying it doesn't make sense, it's confusing, I think he's a fucking idiot. This movie made perfect sense. And like you understand where it was going. Yes, it's not a normal film. I didn't expect it.
That's just because we're so used to this action movie where it's like, oh, we got the clear through line.
Or if it's a horror film,
people don't watch prestige film anymore.
Where's the jump scare? Where's this? Like, I think a lot of audience was expecting it to be a horror film when it's a thriller, sci-fi, even a Western. Like, it's a commentary on a lot of different things. And it's Jordan Peele making his most bombastic film, but still telling critical ideas of how we treat animals, the idea of us being consumed with fame, being consumed with chasing lightning in a bottle, that sort of thing.
Major themes in there that most people wouldn't see because we're so used to this action movie cookie cutter.
The idea of wanting to live up to your father's or your family's legacy, while the other sibling is like trying to run from it, but at the same time wants the acceptance of said family. It's such a beautiful dynamic throughout this film. Even the filmmaker striving for something your whole life, is it worth dying for? Is it worth giving up your life?
Dying for your art.
Exactly. There's so many beautiful themes in this movie.
And I'd like to lodge this right before we go into like the deep dive. I don't want to say that this is my own quote because I heard someone else say it. He said it's like this. It's like Jordan Peele wasn't going to like one up Get Out or one up Us. He was making Jaws. He was making Close Encounters. He was making a highbrow prestige thriller that could only be comparable to Spielberg.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know if I compare him to Spielberg. That's a very interesting take.
I'm talking about in the sense of like Jaws and Close Encounters and following that same through line.
It reminded me more of Arrival. Like I got Arrival vibes from this.
Okay.
But I see the Jaws. I 100% see the Jaws, like 2000. But it reminds me so much of Arrival, in the sense of like
I understand. Yeah,
of how like the aliens are, like the idea of how Amy Adams had to communicate with them, and how using her training, use her math knowledge, where OJ had to use his knowledge of training animals and treating it like an animal, and it was beautiful. So that's where I see the Arrival thing. But let's get into it. Nope is a film, a 2022 American science fiction horror film. I'd even say a little bit of Western. Written and directed and co-produced by Jordan Peele under his Monkey Paw Productions. It stars Daniel Kaluuya, Kiki Palmer, Steve Yeun, Michael Wincott, and Brandon Pereira, who I think is gonna be a fucking star. When we talk about the acting of this movie, they had some heavy hitters. It follows two ranch-owning siblings who attempt to capture and sell video evidence of an unidentified flying object. And basically, Peele, when he was talking about the themes and everything, he was like, the villain is this otherworldly threat, and it also is something that everyone has in common, everyone's relationship to the spectacle, the idea of clout, the idea, and if you go watch this week's Bros Who Think podcast, we talk about this a lot, but that is
a big theme this week.
It's a big theme, 100%. The film has been characterized as containing themes related to spectacle and exploitation. GQ's Garrick D. Kennedy wrote that Nope is a movie about spectacle, more specifically our addiction to spectacle. Nope is about holding a mirror to us all and our ability to look away from drama or peril. Maybe that's why Logan Paul didn't like it, because he's a part of the spectacle machine. He is the person that Jordan Peele was making fun of.
And also, like, if you look at it in a higher sense, it's the monster isn't the monster in Nope.
No, the monster's the people.
The American psyche, or the human psyche, the Hollywood psyche.
Yep, the idea of chasing. Yep, no, 100%. 100%. So where do we want to begin with this movie? There's so many places. I don't want to do a typical
the linear style. Just go.
I don't want to do the classic linear style of how we do reviews, because we on Run It Back on the last one, we determined that there's two styles of how we want to review movies going forward. There's the linear going through things, and then there's what we like to call CNS. What CNS is hold on, because I got the abbreviation for it, because I wanted to we wrote it out, and I'm trying to find it in our text messages. CNS is, hold on, let me hold on, I'm about to have it. I might end up editing some of this hold on out. Okay, here we go. CNS, chronological notable scenes. That is where we where that's what the typical style. Like that's how we do it. The chronological notable scenes, that's going through the scene rundown. But I want to discuss this more openly. The open floor discussion, if you will. So let's get into it with this. I think we got to start off with Gordy's home. The fact that it's Monkey Paw Productions, and then we get the beautiful
the champ.
Yeah, beautiful. But the fact that Jordan Peele made this where this monkey was on set and went crazy and killed everybody. Blew my fucking mind. And then when you see Steve Yeun under the table and how the monkey's putting out the fist to show like it's like, bro, the monkey was just trying to, like, y'all drove the monkey insane by putting him on the schedule, doing all this shit. The monkey just went insane, but he's still the monkey they knew at heart, yet they killed him. And when they sniped him, blew my mind. And he witnessed, Steve Yeun believes he's a miracle because he survived, and he saw the shoe that stood straight up. That's why he saved it. I thought that was beautiful. Yeah,
it was beautiful. But then again, it also, you know, now that we see it in retrospect, he still gets caught up in the
trauma.
Spectacle.
Yeah, 100%.
But that goes from the psyche of, okay, I understand this happened, but how can I exploit this to further my own gain? And that's why he starts these roadside shows.
Not even that. I think it's more so of, you're right about the how can I exploit to get more famous? But I think he was a child actor who slowly lost fame more and more and more. So he had to cling to anything that could get him that pop. That's why when the alien was coming, he was like, oh, this will put me back on the map. And it's his addiction to fame. I mean, look at
the constant chase.
Yep. Look at OJ and Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer's character. With when you first meet Emerald Haywood, when she goes and tells her story to the people of the cast, she goes the whole rundown and she's like, I do this, I do that. And OJ is like, we're trying to do this job. You're not trying to sell. She's like, no, you don't understand. I'm always selling. I'm a brand. We're trying to get to this bag. Essentially, the addiction to fame. And then it turns out that she's like, okay, we can make money by filming these alien attacks and become famous. We can get Oprah famous. But the thing is, OJ wasn't trying to get Oprah famous. He was trying to get Oprah's famous money, whereas M was chasing the fame.
And it just shows, like, the downfall and the main theme of this is that, look, the art can be its art, but if you're not into it for the sake of the art, then you're going to end up falling.
Yeah, 100%.
Or you're going to end up coming short because you're destroying yourself in the process of trying to attain that. And that's why we get the dying for one's art theme with the camera guy later on and other instances like that.
Yeah. And even the dad died while taking care of his horses.
When
that shit flew down and hit the nickel,
the nickel.
Bro, what the hell? Blew my mind. I was like, how is this happening? What is happening from this? And from that moment, it had me hooked. And then when you see that the horse got cut from a key, it's like, where did this come from? And I love how they used it, said it was a prop plane that just had shit falling. I thought that was very interesting. And then going into the scene of, okay, now we're seeing why this shit is falling. It is things getting sucked up and spit back out.
Spitting out the metal.
Yeah, bro.
That's a parallel to the Hollywood industry, where it sucks everyone up and it just spits you out at the end of it. And at the end of it, you're nothing. You just become consumed by the fame and the clout. And I also want to add to that is the fact that, like, while these people are getting consumed and spit out and how it represents Hollywood, is also the fact that, like, it spits out the things that we see the most valuable. we see
Yeah.
gold, the chains, everything that we think is a marker of fame and material wealth gets spit out, and you're
But it
gone,
kept
and you
the
lose yourself
people.
entirely
It kept the things that we don't value each
that
other.
we don't value.
Yeah,
And
100%.
also, speaking of being undervalued, I think that Nope is actually a love letter to crew, because everyone in there are the people who don't really get represented in the Hollywood film space. No one talks about the gaff or the and everyone who
the
brings the
director,
horses,
the animal
trains the
trainers,
horses. The only people that really get the praise
tech
are the
guys.
actors and then the directors, and then that's it. Whereas I think this actually brought it in and highlighted how much they contributed. And OJ's jacket on the back of it says crew.
It does.
And so I just think that was a nice parallel and a good thank you to Jordan Peele and his guys for highlighting those people who virtually never get any recognition in the film industry.
I also love that the monster is basically a vagina monster. like it's 100% a vagina monster. Like as it was sucking up, it had like ridges that like I just kept thinking like a dick is supposed to fit through here, and then it's even more so a vagina monster because then when it starts flowing and it like it's like the late like no Jordan knew 100% what he was doing.
Jordan had a lot of little Easter eggs in there.
I loved how at first you think, okay, it's a UFO. Where's the aliens in there? This is why it was very Arrival to me. Of he changed the idea of what we think an alien is, what we think a UFO is. That was very beautiful in how he did that.
Yeah, because not every alien is just a human-esque version of yourself.
Not those little people that we thought he saw
with the massive eyes.
One of the best scenes when OJ thinks it's like, oh shit, they're looking at him and he punches it. That's a fucking kid. That kid got decked. So love that. Another scene I really, really love is when OJ's riding the horse. Oh no, driving the car, and they're in the house, and everything's getting sucked up, and then all that blood just starts gushing onto the house because the animal ate that metal horse and threw that metal horse on the ground because it wasn't consumable. And then she's dropping just all that blood, and fucking Keke Palmer's like, nope, we getting the fuck out of here. And I love that it's called Nope, because that's how black people would respond.
Yeah, that's how black people. Yeah, and that's how black people respond to seeing most horror movies. It's just nope, and then they're bouncing out of here.
Yep. Any other scenes you like? Because I'm just going through scenes that I think of.
Okay, a scene I like because I thought Lyndon would steal it from me. As you know, me and Lyndon both love anime, and one of the greatest anime movies ever made is Akira. And the Akira slide, as she's coming over there, I'm like, damn, Jordan, that's a great illusion. Because no one does that in any motorcycle scene besides Akira Kurosawa.
And I think it's interesting. Well, no, the Akira movie, not Akira Kurosawa. That's the director.
Yeah, the movie, my fault.
And it's interesting because he was supposed to make Akira.
They make the live action Akira. Yeah,
he was 100%. Good call. I like that. Another scene I like is when you meet Steve Ewan and you go through his backstory of explaining Gordy's home and whatnot when he's talking to him and OJ is trying to buy back the horses. And it just shows how, again, about not focusing on the prize. OJ is there to talk about business and money, and those two got easily distracted. But it shows the trauma that Steve Ewan is still dealing with, because he's acting like, oh, everything's normal, putting on a face, a front, a lie. But this dude is still that 12-year-old kid under the table.
That scared 12-year-old.
Yep.
And also that parallels back to you have to put on a front to try to succeed, especially in Hollywood and the film industry. And I mean, look, this is a very allegorical film because almost virtually everything ties back to Jordan Peele's major themes. I will also highlight the fact that this is a very animal activist, animal rights forward film, because the chimp is also the parallel to the alien. And the fact that you can't exploit it for what it is, because in the end of the day, it's still an animal that should have its own rights and its own autonomy. And using it for spectacle is eventually going to be your downfall.
It makes sense because if you look at Steve Ewan's character, he respected that the animal was the chimp was still an animal, didn't cross his boundary, wasn't trying to, and reached out to be his friend. Whereas when he's an adult, he loses all of that, even though he's still that kid.
And he even exploits their horses.
Yep, exactly. He's buying the horses just to use them to sell.
Just to use them,
So the alien bites it or eats it. I thought another scene I like is meeting Angel Torres. When we talk about the actors, I thought Brandon Pereira is a fucking star. Every scene he was in, it was scene stealing. When he was setting up the cameras, the humor between him and Keke Palmer was great. I thought Keke acted her ass off in this role.
Yeah.
I love
Keke kind of needed this film.
We're gonna talk about it. I love the brother-sister dynamic between OJ and M the entire time. Like, one of the scenes is right after she was like, "You want to raid Dad's liquor card?" And he's like, "I got the weed ready." She was like, "Oh, you should have said that."
Yeah, I was gonna say sibling love is also a big theme in this because, like,
it is.
OJ and M have a great sibling relationship in this, and we don't really see a lot of that in like horror movies because usually it's every man for himself.
But see, that's because I don't think it's a real horror movie.
I don't think it's a real horror. You see, I kind of keep Peele in the mind of like horror.
I think he's getting out of that.
It's really more of a psychological thriller.
Because when we talk about
him because he doesn't want to get boxed into that horror.
When we talk about his next movie, like Stephen King. Exactly. When we talk about his next movie, I want him to do something completely different. We'll get to that. Any other scenes you got before we jump to some of the acting talks?
The only other scene I got is whenever the cameraman gets swept up in the dust and he dies, and I'm like, that's the perfect parallel. Dying for one's art. You could have gotten out of there, but you chose to stay.
He wanted the perfect shot.
And at the end of the day, you won't be able to see your work.
I thought it was interesting that he was the only one to die and Brandon Pereira was saved as well as Keke Palmer. I thought that was very interesting how they were saved. I also love how OJ was going to sacrifice himself, but in turn ended up saving everybody. And I love that final scene of him doing the ride through of the horse and then jumping into the thing. That was fucking action. Like, that's how to film action without throwing a single punch.
Yeah.
That was also beautiful.
Cinematography, they shot like those night scenes beautifully. And
then looking through the cloud, trying to find where the thing is. Yep. That was all amazing. I'm trying to think anything else that I feel is worth mentioning. Oh, I guess Steve, you win the scene where when you see fucking the alien come and suck him and all of that amusement park.
The circus act with him.
Suck everything up. So those are our favorite scenes. If you have one scene that you would say is the best scene overall, what would you say?
I'd have to say I love the Akira slide.
Okay.
But I'll say the best scene is whenever the chimp murders the family Steve Winchantman.
It's hard not to choose that
because that is essentially that illustrates the theme of the movie.
Yeah.
Exploitation and the spectacular. Well, not spectacular, the spectacle.
Yep.
The spectacle worship, the spectacle culture.
I think that I'm going to choose starting when the TMZ guy is about to die and OJ's like, "I'm sorry, brother, you chose this." And then it starts the great action scene of him running the alien down and then jumping into the shed. That's my favorite scene by far. Second place, when OJ punches the alien, because that was the true horror. And I thought that was beautiful of him to like play with our emotions and be like, "Oh, we think the alien's following him? Nah, this is a joke. Aliens don't look like this, you dummies. This isn't that." All right, let's talk about the best actor in the acting. I thought Daniel Kaluuya
gonna be Bob De Niro and Marty Scorsese.
Look, he was incredible, and let me tell you why. He's incredible because this was the most different role I've seen him do. And the fact is he talked very little, but it was acting with body language, facial expressions, and body motion. I can't say he was the best actor in this movie because he didn't talk that much and because of what Keke Palmer and Brandon Pereira did, but it's hard not to say Daniel Kaluuya wasn't batting 1,000. Like, he won't win an Oscar, but he should be nominated for this. For how well he body language acted. Yeah. Like, it was incredible.
This further diversifies his portfolio as an actor because, I mean, look, Daniel Kaluuya probably is the head, or if not the head, the co-head of this next generation of actors. I know he's a little bit on the older side at 31,
you know, I got it. To me, and I need to start giving him his props. To me, it's Robert Pattinson, Adam Driver, John David Washington, Jonathan Majors, Daniel Kaluuya.
Damn, a lot of people put Timothy
Chalamet,
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet is also in that list, but I think the
He does
big.
very niche films.
I think he's not there yet. I think he still has more to grow. Whereas Robert Pattinson, John David Washington, Jonathan Majors, Adam Driver, and Kaluuya are all in their prime right now, batting 1,000. Like those dudes are the 5 best actors today. There's no one better than those 5.
Yeah.
And I didn't have Kaluuya in there at first until I saw him in Judas and the Black Messiah. That's where I was like, okay, this guy is that guy. And funny enough, you say Lakeith. I feel like Lakeith is this generation's Gary Oldman, like the perfect character actor.
Yeah.
Like can do it all. But Kaluuya proved he's a leading man, and he proved that he's Peele's Robert De Niro with this movie.
Yeah, Robert. Yeah.
100%.
That's good to have that collaboration because, like, we don't see that really in black filmmaking.
No, not with. I mean, like the only one we saw is Spike Lee and Denzel.
Spike Lee and Denzel,
and that's it.
That ended relatively quickly.
Yeah, Will didn't have one. Jamie didn't have one.
Will didn't have one.
Yeah, it was really just Denzel.
You could maybe say Sam and Quentin, but Quentin is.
But we're talking about a black director, and
talking about black director, black actor.
But Sam and Quentin is one, 1,000%.
Sam and Quentin is one, yeah.
Yeah, like 1,000%. That might be Quentin's number one guy.
Yeah.
Because he's been in the most movies. You can't tell.
He has been,
he likes Tim Roth. Yeah, he likes working with I'm blanking on his name. Mr. Blonde, who cut the ear off.
You're talking about
he's not John Travolta. No, not Harvey Keitel. It's the other black hair. He was the other Vega brother. It's Vincent Vega and then this Vega, and I can't think of his name right now. He plays Bill's brother in Kill Bill. He's also in The Hateful Eight. Tarantino loves him, but it's Sam. Sam is the guy. Like just like Leo had his era with Quentin, Leo had his era with Scorsese, but Brad Pitt did as well. But
Michael Madsen?
Michael Madsen, yeah, that's another Tarantino guy. But when you think of the one, it's Sam. And I love that Kaluuya is that. But we got to give Keke Palmer her props.
Keke Palmer stole the show.
This movie shows why she is still one of the best actresses out. She needs to start getting more roles like this. And I think the reason why she doesn't is because, people see her as, if not the child actor who's Akeelah in the Bee, they see her as a TV host. And when you host TV and media, it's hard to get Oscar-level films. And it was great for Jordan Peele to give her that shot because now she can start to get more films.
Yeah, because you could see that, like, she was, I don't want to say slowly getting overtaken, because she was getting overtaken by the Zendayas and the other women of that character.
No, she was.
Who kept coming back in films after films after films, and her career was slowly dwindling. But now that not
dwindling, it was just she was doing other stuff.
But as film buffs, she wasn't getting into the films. She was still doing her TV
other
show
stuff.
Hosting.
Yeah. Making money. But Keke killed it. Loved her entire role. But I think we have a new star. Oh, and of course, Steve Yeun killed it. I thought Steve Yeun was incredible. Like those three were amazing. But Brandon Pereira is a new star, man. Brandon Pereira, who played the tech guy, he played what's his name, Angel Torres. I thought he was a star. I thought every time he was on screen, he took the screen, he took everybody's attention. I thought in terms of speaking roles, I have him second behind Keke Palmer, tied with Steve Yeun.
See, I have Keke, Steve, and then him.
Okay. I just thought what this kid did was in the way he tackled humor. I thought it was incredible. I got to give him his props over Steve. Who would you say overall best actor of the movie?
Keke Palmer.
Keke Palmer. I'm gonna give it to Kaluuya just because of the body language acting. Like, he sold me on. He had
that like Quiet Place vibe.
Like if
you don't have to
honestly, if that's Michael B. Jordan, the movie doesn't fucking work. If that's anyone but Kaluuya, the movie doesn't work. Like, and I love Robert. I love Jonathan Majors. I love John David Washington. I love Pattinson. I love Driver. It's just the way Kaluuya just was moving, walking. He felt like OJ.
And that's a testament to his ability as an actor.
Yep.
The fact that like he can jump out of one shoot and jump into another one, because some of these actors, once you see their face, they're indistinguishable from their next character.
Michael B. Jordan.
Pattinson will always be the Batman.
See, Michael B. Jordan
will always be free.
I'm gonna say this with Pattinson. I think because of Good Time and because of how good of an actor he was, jumping in The King, how The King is very different from Good Time, which is very different from
No,
The
but you see
Lighthouse.
but those he was more of a side character because Chalamet did run the King.
All right, but Lighthouse, he's the main guy. Good Time,
Yeah,
he's the
Lighthouse is
main
the main
guy.
guy. Yeah, yeah.
Whereas I agree with you with Michael B. Jordan. Michael B.
He's
Jordan
always
will
gonna be
be
Creed.
forever Michael
Creed.
B. Jordan. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I think
Even-
I think he even transcended Creed. Like when you know how when black people see an actor, they say, "Oh, look, it's Creed." I don't think he's the character anymore. I think he's just Michael B. Jordan, the actor.
Yeah, I know how you like to say he's the face actor because
Just
every time we see him,
like
you
Will
just know who
Smith.
it is.
He is Will Smith of this new era, a face actor, not doing serious acting, not going to be an Oscar guy. He might get one late in his career like Will, but he's not on the Denzel path like Kaluuya and John David and Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, because they're going for more prestige film, you know.
Exactly. So you went
Michael
Kiki.
B is going for that bag again. Spectacle culture.
Yep. You went with Kiki. I went with Daniel.
Yeah.
What would you say is the winner of the movie? Who won? There's a lot of winners. A lot of losers too, though.
Okay, I'll say this. The overarching theme winner, I want to say, is animal rights because that's something that like, never tackled
we
in
need a
film.
character. We need a
But look,
character.
if you want a character, fine. If you want a character because you just love taking characters because it's so simplistic, I'd say the winner is probably Kiki.
Okay, see, I want to say the director because he accomplished his life purpose of getting the perfect shot.
Look,
you can't take my answer. See, that's artistic. There you go.
You can take that. You'll take that. Fine. I'll say M because M, in the end of it, M has the greatest arc.
Yeah, she does, and now she can be rich because she found aliens.
She found aliens.
But I could say it was OJ because OJ grew out of his dad's shadow and did his own thing.
Yeah, but you wanted to say, "Oh, Jordan Peele."
I know. I didn't say Jordan Peele. I'm talking about the director in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Like the guy who died and got the perfect shot. Like the dude accomplished his life goal.
But the problem is it a life goal if you die?
Yeah, because he felt it was okay for him to die.
He didn't get to see the perfect shot.
It does. No, he did when he filmed it. When he filmed it, he saw it.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Like by filming it and dying and accepting death, he told Brandon Pereira, he was like, if I'm going to die, I'm going to do it and accomplish my goal. And he did that.
Okay,
this is one of the few films where someone dies where you can say he didn't lose.
Yeah, okay.
Nah, there you go. I got you. But I'm okay with M winning. I'm okay with Kaluuya winning. I'm even okay with Pereira winning because dude came and was a tech guy and now is going to make money because he helped them film. Like he just stumbled into this.
But then if you want to start talking about the L's.
Oh, it is Steve Ewan's
family. Steve Ewan's family.
Yeah. Steve Ewan, his entire family died. His entire childhood family died in Gordy's home. And then now his entire real family died.
He's gone.
And he got eaten by the vagina monster. Like, ooh, imagine
why do you
sucked up by that.
Monster?
Like, bro, no, imagine.
Yes, it has a period. Yes, it looks like a vagina.
Imagine getting sucked up all the way, like shot up like a bullet, and then you're sliding through something and it eats you. Oh, that must be miserable. It did have a period when it bled everywhere.
Yeah, when the blood came out.
Nah, that's a vagina monster. That's 1,000% vagina monster. I didn't even think of that. Beautiful. Yeah, loser. I got Steve Ewan's character. Who you got?
I got Steve Ewan's family.
Oh, the whole family.
Got
okay.
massacred by the chin.
Who is the sixth man of the movie? So let's go through the starters. Kaluuya,
Kiki, Stevie Wynn, Pereira,
director. So who would the sixth man be? Is it Gordy?
I think it is Gordy. It could be Gordy.
Is it fucking Gordy?
Is it the alien? Is it the vagina monster?
Or is the vagina monster a starter?
Okay, if the vagina monster is the starter, then the director is the sixth man because he becomes his goal.
Oh no, I got the sixth man. I'm giving it to Keith David, Otis Senior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Keith David, sixth man, Otis Senior. That's my sixth man.
Well, this is my thing. If the alien is a starter, then I give it to the director.
Okay, I like that. The director wasn't in that much in the movie, whereas the vagina monster's in the whole thing.
Yeah, the vagina monster is in the whole thing. I like how we're just gonna call it the vagina.
That's what it's named, like 100%. So
it's Jean Jacket.
Oh yeah, it is Jean Jacket.
It's Jean Jacket. Well, don't do it like that.
You went with Anders Holst, a renowned cinematographer.
Yeah.
And I went with Keith David, Otis Senior. Okay, so we did winner, we did six man, we did loser, we did best scene, we did best actor. Now let's do the rating 1 through 10. What you rating it?
It's look.
I'm giving it an 8.5.
Oh,
Is that low?
Okay. That's kind of low.
Which was 8.8?
I gave it a 9.1.
Ooh, okay. Okay. I see where.
Now look, well, let me preface this. I gave Get Out a 9.8. So
ooh, that's too high for Get Out for me. Okay. 8.5 is too low. I'm going 9 flat.
9 flat? Okay.
9 flat. 9 flat. I'm going 9 flat. You're right. This is a great movie. I'm 9 flat. Yeah. I got Get Out at like 8.5. That's
especially the fact that like people from the Hollywood world are like, oh, I can't understand this movie, or like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. And they're getting shit on through the major themes of this movie. It's like everything's on the nose.
And some people loved it. You can just tell, like, if the people who loved it got it, and the people who didn't just didn't get it. Like I can't believe they thought, like, what does the monkey have to do? Like, bro, were you watching the fucking movie?
Especially like the Paul brothers, like they are the epicenter of spectacle culture.
Yeah.
And it's just showing, look how blind you are to your own spectacle.
100%. Now let's talk about Daniel and Jordan. I want them to do a noir movie. I want them to do it has to have action in it. Like, I don't want to say a detective, but maybe like a hitman, like something.
But I'm sure you're very privy to the crime noir genre.
I want them to do a crime noir. Every great director does one. Whether or not you're the horror guy or not, you have to have one. And Jordan realizes that by making sci-fi. And you can still do crime noir and have your horror elements. Like, make the serial killer be
like make like a 7.
Yes.
Like a 7S.
Yes. Not and have it to where Kaluuya is the lead detective. He can have a partner and have a killer and do something like that. Like, you're gonna do Akira. That's basically an action movie with some horror elements. So he wants to have horror elements and everything. We'll do a crime noir. What would you want to see Peele do?
I think I'd want to see him, like, the movie that pops into my head because I didn't think about it by genre was Prisoners.
Prisoners is the same thing. That's crime noir.
Yeah, crime. Yeah, I see it now. But I feel like he'd need to have a more psychological human villain and make the horror from that.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. A serial killer.
He's been dealing with. Yeah, I know he's been dealing with the whole mystical alien or different. But I mean, if he goes more in a Get Out route where, it's more human, I can look.
That's what I'm saying. Let him have a serial killer who's doing something like targeting black women for some reason. He can have his commentary on race that way or whatever it may be.
And in the heinous ways in which the murders are conducted would be like the horror.
And like the fucking media, the media isn't covering it because it's a black woman, and then you could have a white woman die. The killer makes a mistake and kills a white woman and blows up.
Yeah. Or the other thing could be like, because I know he likes to do a lot of twists, is if Daniel Kaluuya is the lead detective, the killer could be his buddy detective. And it goes like that.
Something like that. But I think those two need to continue to work. And I think for Kaluuya, he needs to give him an action detective style movie. He needs one. Like, every great pairing has that, whether it's a gangster film, whether it's a detective, just something in the crime genre. And see, I don't think he could do a gangster film because you couldn't have the horror elements in it.
Yeah.
I don't think Peele's that type of director. You
could kind of say Kaluuya's already done a kind of gangster film with Queen and Slim.
Yeah, kinda. Bonnie and Clyde, I guess.
Bonnie and Clyde, On the Run gangsters. He's already kind of done that. So he'd need a more of a psychological crime.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, but I don't count that per se. But I see what you're saying. I can rock with that. Okay, cool. So anything else you got on this movie?
I'd just like to say, I mean, if this is where Peele is going and he's on this trajectory, in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to be saying he's up there with some of the greatest directors of all time.
Oh yeah, he's going to be up there with the Nolans, with the Tarantinos, the Scorseses. Yeah, like right now when we say with Nolan and Villeneuve, we're talking about active, but Nolan and Villeneuve has transcended active and is part of that squad of Tarantino's, Spielberg's, them. If Peele does that, I agree with you 100%. And same thing with Kaluuya. If he continues on this path, he's going to be a part of the best actors of all time. So 100%. Tell the people where they can follow you at on social media, Lil Reg.
You can follow me on Twitter at Reginald Rito, no D. And then Instagram Reggie.Rito, no caps.
Y'all make sure y'all go follow Lil Reg. And with that being said, back to you, Schubert, to finish Bros Who Binge.